This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, we are on the air, and I'm so happy to have everybody back. I don't know where is there a game on tonight or something? Am I missing something? Like, what's going on tonight? No? Just guys are cutting.
No, that finals.
Finals, right, finals.
What finals? No college.
Well, we're missing Ellie's here. Ellie, we're missing. He's sick. And David went to Israel, so we're missing him. And you should just know, a month ago he laughed at me when, remember that guy walked in and I said he sponsored the class and then he got engaged and he laughed, Rabbi, you think, right? Okay, so I just wanted to tell you this class is sponsored by an anonymous. Why is she sponsoring it? I'm just going to read. You take it the way it is. Hello, Rabbi Rosenfield. I sponsored a shir around 3 weeks ago in the merit that my sister should get engaged. I wanted to let you know that Baruch Hashem, she is a kala, she is a bride. I was wondering if we can sponsor this shir for next week. Thank you for all your Torah learning. So you see, 3 weeks, that's all it took, 3 weeks. So, you know why? Because of guys like Shlomo, who's been here for 10 years, that's why. Yoschos. All the sacrifices you guys made. So anyways, thank you very much for the anonymous sponsor. And of course to PK, we appreciate it. And because we don't have that many guys today, you have a lot of leftover sushi, so please take home with you. Bring it home for the wife and for the kids. All right? All right, here we go. It's not on? Am I not on?
You're not on your Facebook page.
I'm not on mine. Okay. I don't know why that is. Okay. What am I supposed to do? I can't. I'm not technologically advanced. That's my problem. So I don't know.
Michael Pence in Israel.
Shlomo, could you figure it out?
No, I'm horrible.
Okay. Am I good with this at least?
I think so.
You're on Torah Anytime.
Yeah?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
You want to add it to the
So then we'll share it later. Okay, here we go. Okay, this week's Parsha is Parsha Beshalach. Sorry for the delay. Page 370. I want everybody to please look inside. Now, what got me to discuss this topic specifically is because Sunday night I went to a wedding, one of the most lavish weddings I've ever been at. It was in the Hilton, New York. Is that phone on vibrate, by the way? It looks like it's about to go off. Yeah, it's on vibrate?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for you.
Okay. So, it was in Hilton, New York. You know whose wedding. Of course you know whose wedding. I'm not going to say it here. And I pulled up. I was very excited because, they must have had, I was told, a 50-piece symphony at the wedding. And I was told the bar is, unlimited and just beyond belief. And the food is out of control. So the buffet was called from 4 to 6. So I came at 5 o'clock. So I still had 1 hour to pound away. And I was very excited, especially since I heard it was absolutely gorgeous. So I pull up to the Hilton, and I said to my wife, I'll drop you off, and I'll just park valet. And sure enough, she gets off. I pull up, and they said to me, sorry, no more tickets, we're full. I'm like, come on. No, we just gave out the last one. They booked the entire Hilton parking lot. I said, what am I going to do? Don't worry about it. Your host has validated all cars across the street in that hotel. Just go across the street, park there. I said, okay, great. I go across the street. I pull in my car. My wife's texting me, where are you? Food's great. I'm like, oh, I'm coming in. Don't worry about it. Right? I pull up. There's 3 cars in front of me. Right? Okay, what's 3 cars? It's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and nothing's moving. And all of a sudden, right, my friend's like, you're missing it. It's great. I'm like, you know that, what's that feeling inside? I can't describe
Anxiety?
that. I don't know what it is. It's a mix of FOMO, anxiety, nervousness, you're hungry, everybody's having such a great time, and you're stuck in a parking lot behind 3 Hasidic guys. Just come on, move it. Right? This guy, they're looking for this guy's ticket. They don't know where to park this guy. And I feel but then I realize I'm a big phony. I'm a big faker. Who am I fooling? Because for years I always give this class and I tell everybody, you got to be calm. Life is a test. Life is about challenges. I'm such a big talker. Meanwhile, I'm going crazy. I want to eat that corned beef already. The pastrami. I'm smelling the pastrami across the street. And I'm ice match. So I'm looking at myself, okay, this man is a phony. I'm not going to give any more speeches. But instead of saying that, I'll admit, I got faults like you guys. I got issues. What am I supposed to do? I'm working on myself. Hopefully I have another 70 years in this world, 80 years. Hopefully by the time it's up, I will have perfected myself. But, just for the record, if I ever give you a lecture about being calm and relaxed when this corned beef pastrami is about to be served, you should know I'm not a hypocrite. I'm admitting it's not easy.
Careful, Clinton also admits it.
Really? Okay, well, we're online over here. Now, one thing, but I think the first step, though, anytime there's the first step to rehab, is to admit you have a problem. So now I know that if I'm really hungry and there's a delicious buffet smorg, that I should just give myself some extra time and not rush in. Okay, I learned my lesson. But the fact of the matter is that I think we all at different times in our life, we're on our way somewhere, we expect to be there a certain time, we're not there, and very few people can stay calm. But what comforted me was this week's Parsha. And because it's exactly what this week's Parsha is about, I figured, okay, I'm not the only one to get a little agitated, but we see in this week's Parsha, 2 million Jews were agitated too. Granted, they all thought they're going to die at the sea. They thought they're going to get their heads chopped off by Pharaoh. All I wanted was some veal and some sweetbread. So there was a little difference. However, everybody on their own level. So let's just look inside and let's just see exactly what... By the way, I eventually got in. There was more than enough time to spare. I was able to get to 15 carving stations before the chuppah. And yes, there was a 50-piece band and it was beautiful. It was great. And all I had to do was remain calm. All I had to do was not complain. Now, I didn't yell. I didn't scream. It was just, I want to know if you're internally going crazy and not screaming, is that considered passing? No one could tell on my face, really. So, here we go. Page 371. Shh, it's online, yes. It was his daughter got married, yes. Remember that. He used to work there. Okay, here we go. Pharaoh approached the children of Israel, raised their eyes, and behold, Egypt was journeying after them, and they were very frightened. Okay, now, you have to understand something. When you and I describe a situation, usually we exaggerate in order for us to tell a story. So, like, I went to the game. It was amazing! Was it really amazing? You have to tell the guy he's amazing, so he'll have FOMO, and he'll want to be there. I don't know if it was really amazing, but that's what we do. Oh, it was sick! Was it really sick? You know, it really was sick. We got to say it was sick, so the guy should be jealous. It was over the top! It was epic!
It was huge!
It was huge! You, fantastic, super. We don't know. But that's when we talk. But if the Torah is telling you where every word, Hashem goes over every letter and every word, and Hashem is telling you something, that means exactly what the Torah says, that is what happened. So therefore, it says over here, and they were very frightened. The children of Israel cried out to Hashem. They left Egypt, they look around, and all of a sudden, Pharaoh and his armies coming after them. I mean, you just try to picture that scene. Try to picture the scene that people were liberated from the camps, the concentration camps, and they think they're free, and all of a sudden they turn around, and there's Mussolini with 10,000 soldiers coming after them in tanks and planes. And just when you thought your life was saved, now it's over, and there's nowhere to go. And the Torah is telling you they were very frightened. And they said to Moshe, who took them out of Egypt, look at verse 11, were there no graves in Egypt that you took us to die in the wilderness? What is it that you have done to us to take us out of Egypt? Is this not the statement that we made to you in Egypt? We told you, let us be, and we will serve Egypt. We told you that. For it is better that we should serve Egypt than we should die in the wilderness. They were frightened, they were complaining. Moshe says, do not fear, stand fast and see the salvation of Hashem. And what does he do? Turn the page. He lifts up his staff, and what happens? The sea split. So now they had to go through major anxiety for a little bit, and then it splits. So, and my question is, hey, what's going on? So, if you were Hashem, and you were taking the Jews out of Egypt, do you have any better way you would have gotten to this point, getting them across the sea? If you were doing it, like if you loved your people, and you really loved the children of Israel, and you just took them out, would you think of a better way that they can just Get out of there. Any ideas? I mean, if you're really
Go around.
you go around, feet sit there, make it shorter. In other words, if at the end of the day it looks like the sea's going to split and they're going to get through, so why do they need that for? I mean, everything was good. They're out. What? Okay, I'll give you one more example. Turn the page. Right? They finally crossed the sea, and now they're up to page 381. 381. You have that, Aaron? You're not looking inside. Artem, 381. Let's go. 81. There you go. Verse 22. Moses called Israel to journey from the sea, Sea of Reeds, and they went out to the wilderness of Shur. They went for a 3-day period in the wilderness, but they did not find water. They came to Marah, but they could not drink the waters of Marah because they were bitter. So can you imagine? They finally came out. They're thirsty. It's 3 days, and they see water. They see water. Yes, in the desert. What are the chances there's going to be lakes? And they go, bitter. They would all die if they drank this water. So they come to Moshe, and verse 24, the people complained against Moshe, saying, turn the page, what shall we drink? He cried out to Hashem, and Hashem showed him a tree. He threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. And then he established for the nation a decree and an ordinance there, and there he tested them. Again, what happened? They walk out, they're thirsty. They see the lakes. It's bitter. They go crazy. Where God? What are we going to? I mean, it's a pretty normal complaint, right? You're thirsty. You haven't. Hashem let you into the desert. You're on a trip with your parents and you're driving the minivan for 8 hours and there's no drinks. You say, Mom, Dad, we're thirsty. Pull over somewhere. And here they are. They complain to Moshe Rabbeinu. We're thirsty. So what does Moshe do? He throws a stick in the water. Nice and sweet.
He hit the rock.
That's later.
And was
Yes, that's soon. This is first in Marah. Very good. You're ahead of yourself. Excellent. Right? Again, he tests them. So again, if you're reading this, you're reading the story, and you know that the Yidden suffered in Israel, in Egypt for so many years, and now you see them out. Eventually, they're going to make the water sweet. So come on, let's be honest. Let's be friends over here. Here Hashem, you took them out. Why make it bitter and then sweet? If you love these kids so much, and they're your chosen nation, you took them out of Egypt, so go and give them sweet water. No. This is what we're going to do. We're giving them bitter water. We're giving them bitter water. Then after they complain, Moshe takes this magical stick, puts it in, and now it's sweet. Why? That doesn't bother you? Oh, and by the way, Artem wants to know, 1 second, what about where you hit the rock? Yes, that was also one of the 10. No water. They go crazy. Moshe hits the rock. Same thing. We want food. There's no food, it says on page 385. There's no food. Oh, Hashem said to Moses, don't worry, I shall rain down food from you. You could pick up manna each day. And all of a sudden, there was food. Now, parents don't do this usually. When parents go on trips, I know when my wife packs for a trip, when she goes on a trip on a plane, there's enough food in her bag for the entire plane. Not just me and my wife. All 400 people could eat from my wife's carry-on. That's how much food she packs. And therefore, everybody's calm. In fact, the El Al plane that landed, that stood 29 hours, took them to get there. Baruch Hashem, because there was 98% Jews, there was enough food for at least for a month. They could have stayed there in Canada for a month. It's not a problem. So therefore, that wasn't the issue. We'll get to El Al later, remind me. But usually, if you're packing for a trip, you tell the kids, I got drinks, I got snacks, and right? And then when the kids come, Mom, can you pay us, right? It's not like usually 2 hours into the trip, Mom, any food? No. No drinks? No drinks. Oh my gosh, no drinks. We're 2 hours. You're complaining? Watch. Ta-da. Mom, why don't you just tell me before the trip started that you had some drinks? Like, why would you make me go crazy? You freaked me out for a second. No parent would do that. Parent told the kids, I got everything in the front. Yet, you see, Hashem is doing this every time. He's taking them to the sea. He's going to split it eventually. Let's first let the Jews freak out.
Build trust.
Right? So what's the reason? Yes?
We need to constantly build on the relationship.
Okay.
If we don't cry out, if we don't reach out.
Excellent. I like that. In other words, one of the ways to build a relationship is by calling out. If you gave everything up front, you wouldn't do that. I like that. What were you saying?
Trust. It builds trust.
Builds trust. It's a nice title. It says over there, V'sham Yisahu. Leman anasenu. Right? In order I should test them. That's a test. Right? You want to see if these kids can overcome. Okay, it makes a lot of sense. If the guy says, I understand why Guy did it. Because he wanted to take them out. He wanted to test them to see if they'll remain calm, like me in the parking lot, waiting for. He wanted to see, and after Rosenfield failed, then he got this parking spot. Okay, it makes sense. However, test, I understand. Hashem tests us all the time. We talked about this many, many times. But I want you to first open to page 1. This is Path of the Just. Must read, by the way, but I made one copy. You don't have to bring the whole book. Page 1. This is Path of the Just. But we got the question so far, right? You're all good? Simple question. Now, Path of the Just is basically learning how to live. Very simple. If you don't read this book at least, 40 times in your life, you might go through life actually not realizing your purpose, what your mission is. So it's very important at least to get the CDs or to read the R-Scroll Path of the Just. But we're just going to take one excerpt. The Holy One, blessed be Hashem, has put man in a place where the factors which draw him further from Hashem are many. Okay, let's get that straight. Artem, you have it? Hashem has put you in a world where He has given you many distractions that can pull you away from Him. There's McDonald's, there's Burger King, there's clubs, there's drugs, there's non-Jewish girls, there's unlimited events and parties and I mean, come on, seriously. Sometimes you have to look up at yourself and say, what do you want from my life? What do you want from me? I'm trying to be a good Jew. There's the phone, there's my TV, there's my employee, there's my work. Wherever I go, I'm challenged. How do you want me to live? This is not fair. I want to do a good, but I'm being pulled from all sides. What are you doing to me? Don't you want me to succeed? But Mersul Hashem is telling you. Hashem has put you in the world. Very simple. He's telling you right. He's telling you up front. So don't get frustrated when you bar mitzvah. He's put you in the world where things going to draw you away. Second line. These are the earthly desires which, if he is pulled after them, cause him to be drawn further from and to depart from the true good. Having a relationship with the infinite is extreme, powerful pleasure. All these things that he put in front of you will pull you away. No pleasure for you. I mean, it'll be fleeting pleasure, but like anybody knows, takes a cigarette, it's good for a second, then it's over. And then you want more, and it just doesn't do its job. It is seen then that man is veritably placed in the midst of a raging battle. Okay, all right? Get that straight. You're in a raging battle. So don't be frustrated. At least you know up front that your life is going to be a battle. So when you start battling, don't be like, Rabbi, it's too hard. But if you would have read the material, you would know, oh, I'm in a battle. Okay. When people storm Normandy, they're like, oh my gosh, there's too many bullets. I don't know. I'm sure they warned you what's going to be, and then just go ahead and do it. And they did it. For all the affairs of the world, whether for the good or for the bad, are trials to a man. As King Solomon says, poverty on the one hand and wealth on the other. As Solomon said, lest I become satiated and deny saying, who is God? Or lest I become impoverished and steal. Solomon's saying, whether you're rich or poor, these are two tremendous tests. Now, most guys would rather the rich test. That's because you don't really care if you lose, as long as you're rich. But if you really cared about the ultimate battle in life, if you're poor, you will probably never become arrogant. Torah says the one person God dislikes tremendously is an arrogant person. Hashem says, you arrogant and me can't be on the same world. In other words, you can't be like, hey, I run this place. Hashem cannot handle arrogant people. A person, no matter how great he is, always has to remain humble and realize where all his gifts has come from. Once a guy's arrogant, guys like, I can't have you around here. Usually guys that are poor do not become arrogant because they're always coming on to other people for money. guys that are extremely wealthy, and people are calling them all the time for money. All of a sudden, hey, they're calling me. You know what I'm saying? Who's got the cash? Who needs me? Me! And then all of a sudden, it gets to their head, and they start shutting doors, and they start walking with their nose up and that. Even they don't say anything sometimes, but they drive their car, and they're just feeling good. They're feeling good, you know? Then I didn't say anything, but God knows what you're feeling. He knows your head is already exploding, because He knows it. That's what happens. And Solomon said, King Solomon says, he was worried about having a lot of money, because that's what's going to happen. But he was also worried about poverty, because when you don't have money, and you have to feed the family, you have a chance to steal a couple of bucks from the insurance. You're like, whoa. I mean, it must be permitted because my kids are hungry. I got to pay the bills. And then you steal. So it's a battle. Now, you ready for this? This is going to blow your mind. Serenity on the one hand and suffering on the other. I'll say that again. Serenity on the one hand and suffering on the other, so that the battle rages against him, to the fore and to the rear. Now, does anything bother you about that?
Serenity is the opposite of suffering.
Of suffering, yeah. Serenity is everything's good. Serenity, you're in peace, right? So, I don't know why this doesn't bother you. He's saying that I understand rich, I understand poor, I understand if a person's suffering. That makes sense, that he's in a raging battle. What's serenity? What if your life is good, you have money in the bank, you get along with everybody, you're not arguing with anybody, you get along with your wife, you get along with your family, your credit card's okay, your kids are healthy, you got serenity, right? Now I understand the guy's suffering, he's in a battle. You know, he's suffering, he's sick every day, and he's got to get up in the morning, go to work, and he's sick, and he's going to the doctor's office, and he's battling to stay focused in life. Not easy. Not complaining. He's trying to keep peace between everybody, even though I understand. Guy's poor, I understand. What's the big battle if everything's good? You wake up every day. No. I mean, I believe in Hashem. Not too rich, not too poor. It's comfortable. Right?
He's not growing.
He's not growing. Well, what's his battle? In other words, it says over here. It says the battle rages against him. Guy wakes up a day. He's like, I'm going to shul. I'm putting on tefillin. I go learn an hour in the morning, 2 hours. I go to work. I learn an hour at night. It's a good day. He comes home at night. Honey, how was your day?
Glorious, sweetheart.
It was a great day. It's a great day. Great day. I learned. I davened. I worked. I made money. It was a great day. Really? What about Mesilas Yesharim? It says, your life is a battle. Constant. All sides. Right? Challenges. No challenges today. Went to work. There was no challenges. It was a great day. I know challenges. Yes, my friend has challenges. Oh my gosh, I've heard, unfortunately, the bank's coming after him. My other friend has challenges. By the way, his wife's throwing him out of the house. I don't know how he's going to handle that. He's got challenges, right? This guy, unfortunately, can't have children. This guy, unfortunately, is still single. They got challenges. Me, I'm married. I got kids. I got money. I learn. I daven. I wear my yarmulke. I wear my sisters. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. See, this is the issue I want to talk about today. Is that is really who the Mesilas Yesharim is talking about. The guy that is going through Gehenna, of course, but the guy that has serenity, doesn't realize, by the way, he is being challenged immensely. Then you say to yourself, one second. I don't understand. So let me get this straight. So when Yosef was alone with that woman for a year, that's a test. I understand. That's a nisayon. It's a very simple test, right? Pass or fail. She's trying to seduce him. He's trying to hold himself back. Simple test. That's his nisayon, right? That's his challenge, right? That's the battle. If he doesn't do anything, he passes the battle. If he does, he fails. Got that? Right? Avram Avinu. He goes to bring up his son. Everybody sees the test in front of him. Very simple. Right? Do I overcome my love, my connection, all my emotions to my son, and withhold or not withhold? Do I take the knife? Do I slice his neck? Which one? My love for Hashem, my love for my son. That is a battle. Avram takes out his knife. He picks it up. He ties Yitzchak up on the altar. He's about to cut his neck. And Hashem says, okay, you're the man. You have proven yourself. It's over. You're now the father of the Jewish people. We get it. That's the battle. But when I wake up every day, and I go to work, and I go to yeshiva, and I do my job, how do I know? Well, what did I pass that day? I didn't have to. No one had to slaughter their son. No one was seduced that day or for a whole year. So what we're seeing over here is the most amazing thing that you've ever seen in your life. If you are going through difficult times in poverty or with shalom bayit, at least you know right then you're in a battle and you know what you have to do. The worst possible situation is where you don't even know you're in a battle.
You get too comfortable.
Right. You don't even know you're being challenged. At least if you know you're being challenged, you know what to do. If you don't even know you're being challenged, if you think life is good and you're just going through life, it could be the most devastating situation. Reb Steinman, Zatzal, died at 104 years old a few weeks ago. 104 years old. When he was 91, now you imagine, a guy is 91, you think, okay, I spent my entire life dedicated to God and the Jewish people. I'm good. Right? I'm good. But at 91, he was thinking to himself, am I really doing the right thing? 91, can I really accomplish more? Why did God give me 91 years? I guarantee most people, they were 91, and they woke up every day, and they went to shul, they learned another 8 hours like he does every day, 10 hours, 15. I did good. But he was like, and he said, you know what? I got to leave Israel. Never left Israel. Since he moved, he never left Israel. I'm going to travel the world. I need to give chizuk, I need to give strength to the Jewish people. So him at 90 years old, it's very amazing. He came to America. He went to Gibraltar. He flew around, speaking around the world, giving speeches, just to give strength to the Jewish people and motivate them.
Wow.
Here's a man at 90 years old thinking, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Now, most people say, hey, you're good. You're good. And I think when he hit 100 years old, they were like, calm down, relax. You don't have to go crazy 18 hours a day. You did 100 years, chill. I don't know if they said that to him. Take a chill pill, right? He says, you don't understand. That's my problem. People that live till 30, people that live till 35, 40, they could chill because when they go up to Shemayim, all they have to give an accounting for is 40 years. It's 40 years. So, I mean, how much can a guy do in 30 years? He says, but what in the world am I going to say? Now, Hashem gave me over 100 years. How am I going to answer? Even if I did good. But 100? 100? Like, I could say, I did, I learned, I built a family. Okay, that's nice, he's nice, but you could have done that at 20. I gave you 100. And here's a man at 100 was constantly nervous. Oh my gosh. Like, he was in a battle, even though life was great. He's feeling good. He's 100 years old. He builds a yeshiva. He has children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, right? No money issues. He doesn't have any money at all, but he's not worried about it. He's happy with his, whatever he had every day. And yet he's concerned about this battle that, oh my gosh, what am I accomplishing today? Am I doing enough? That Hashem gave me 100 years in this world. Am I really doing enough? Rashi says, so what happens over there? What does Rashi say over here? What did the Jews do? Where did they fail? Where did they fail? They came out, they wanted water. They wanted water, right? They said, Moshe, we want water. Anything wrong with that? Anything wrong with that? Is that a failed test on them? We want water. I think they're okay, right?
Yeah.
Yes? What were you saying?
I mean, I'd say the only thing is maybe instead of asking Moshe, asking God.
Straight to God.
Straight to God, yeah.
Okay. But it says that they, I don't want to use the word complain, whatever it was, but they yelled at Moshe. And Rashi really says what they did wrong. That's it. What do?
They were looking for a reason to get mad.
Oh, right? They looked for a reason. Like, it's Rashi just saying that they didn't speak to him properly. Come on. I mean, they want water. And they failed the test. They didn't speak. You know what that means, guys? Do you know what this means? This blows up our daily life. It turns everything on its head. And it really freaks me out. Because, as I was saying before, most guys, when most guys' big problems is, should I steal? Should I not steal? Should I date that non-Jewish girl? Should I not date that non-Jewish girl? That's a battle in America right now among the Jews. Should I marry Jewish, not Jewish? Is it that important? Should I wear tefillin every day? Is it that important? Should I keep Shabbat? These are big battles. When the Jewish people left Egypt, right, they were like flying high. I mean, they already saw miracles you wouldn't believe. They loved Hashem like it was going out of style. 10 plagues, a whole year, they were settled, relaxed in Egypt. And now they're leaving, right? So, if you were a slave for 200 years, these kids grew up slaves. It wasn't like they were anybody left. They were born in Egypt as a slave, and their whole life, that's all they knew. 80 years, some guys, 90 years, all life a slave. And now they finally leave. Now, if I'm Hashem, I say, you know what? You did good. You did your 90 years. You were slaves. You still remain Jewish. You didn't change your names. You didn't change your lavush. You didn't change your clothes according to the Egyptian style. You didn't change your language. Now I give you a 15-year reprieve. You could chill. 15 years. And then I'm not going to bother you. That's what I would do. I would say after 90 years, I would say, Shalom. Peace. What does Hashem do? Hashem says, well, they're out of Egypt. They finished that test of slavery and they passed. Okay, now it's time to challenge them with water. And you're like, Hashem, well, what are you doing? I just got out yesterday. Give me a break. Hashem says, yeah, but didn't you read the manual? Mesilas Hashem says that your life is about a rage. It's a battle. You're not here. Oh, after you die, as he told Yaakov Avinu, after you die, no problem. Yaakov Avinu also wanted to relax. After you die, you can have eternity. Eternity, not 1 year, not 20 years, not 100, not 1,000, eternity. But over here, you got a battle. It doesn't mean, by the way, battle it has to be a bad experience. You can make it a very enjoyable experience, but it's going to be a battle. They come out and they say, okay, now we're going to challenge you. They're not going to challenge you, should they believe in Hashem? They all believed. Right? They're not going to challenge them, should you do a mitzvah? They're all going to do mitzvahs. They all saw Hashem. It's like asking Rav Moshe Feinstein, what can Hashem challenge Rav Moshe Feinstein at 90 years old? What can he do? Don't put on tefillin. Are you crazy? Don't learn. Are you nuts? Don't worry. They're not even bothering. So Rav Moshe goes, I can say, Rav Moshe gets every day, hey, that was a good day. That was a good day. I mean, I did everything right. But then Rabbi Chaim say, no, don't be silly. That might not be your challenge. To put on tefillin might be expected from you. Okay, you've done it your whole life. They were busted in the desert. Why? Not because they didn't keep Shabbat, not because they married a Goya, not because they didn't talk properly to Moshe. That's all they did wrong.
Humility.
Their speech. They shouldn't have spoken that way. And I'm sure at the end of the day, when they came home to the tents, their wife said, how was your day? Great day. Believe in Hashem. Didn't do an Averis. And Hashem is saying, you messed up big time. And it's going in the book. It's going in the book what you did. What? So here's a guy. It's unbelievable. Here's a guy. Watch. Here's a guy. Wakes up in 2018 in the Flatbush. And he wakes up. He goes to work. He does everything right. But the cashier was taking too long, and he yelled at her. And he comes home and says, that was a great day. I put on tefillin, kissed the mezuzah. And God says, no, you idiot, you failed. I said that day, your big challenge of that day was someone was going to annoy you. I would send a cashier, I would send a relative, a neighbor. That was your challenge that day. And you failed. And the problem is you don't even realize it. You didn't even realize that was the challenge. You didn't realize it. That's why Mesilas Hashem says, even in serenity, When everything is peaceful, you constantly reach up, but you might not realize it. You might not realize it that the guy came over to you in shul, this guy, unfortunately, that has no food to eat, and all he wanted was $1 or $2, and you were too busy talking to your friend, you're like, oh, whatever, and you gave him that look, and you hurt him. I'm not saying you had to give him money if you didn't have, but you could have said, I'm sorry, I don't have, maybe tomorrow. That's all he needed. All he needed was that. I'm sorry, I don't have, please come back tomorrow. And that'll be fine. But the fact that you gave him, get out of here. Or if you gave him $1 and you gave him that look and you hurt him, that could have been your challenge of serenity. All you had to do, and you come home and think, oh, that was a great day. And Mr. Shalom was saying, you don't even know you're in a battle. You didn't even realize I did that for you and you blew it. Or you were walking down the street and something happened where you looked at something you shouldn't have looked at, you said something, and you blew it, not realizing that was your challenge of the day. Throughout the desert, none of the things that the Jews did were really that bad. None of that bad. They're in front of the sea, right? Okay, they're about to be attacked. All they had to do was be a little calmer and speak respectfully. A lot of times we're justified. My friend was on that El Al flight last week. Baruch Hashem, I was on Delta. I don't like challenges like that because I'm probably going to fail. Something Hashem knows who he can challenge. I guess he put me on Delta. It would not be good. And even that wasn't a challenge because the guy next to me, whatever, I'm not going to talk about him. But anyway, that was a challenge too. I passed that one. But so my friend was on it, and they asked him to speak at the third Suda, Shal Shudas, because he was on the flight. So he was on the ground for 19 hours in Canada. 19 hours, that's on the ground, as they waited for another flight. They waited for another plane to land. And the whole flight took them 29 hours. So they said, could you speak by Shal Shudas? Tell us all the great stories out there. It must be great stories, right? So he gets up to speak by Shal Shudas, and no stories. I was like, well, wait, come on. There must have been like people going crazy, killing each other, or some Kiddush Hashem, or some sanctification. No. He says, the only thing I could tell you is that I was sitting next to a non-Jew, had a good conversation. I would say 98% of the flight was Jewish, he said, 96, whatever. And the person said to me, I'm unbelievably impressed. I'm super shocked. Forget about that, there are no riots, which there should have been, right, for 19 hours. Not only are there no riots, everybody's calm. They're singing. There was even a kumsitz people singing over there. Everybody's getting along. I've never been so impressed with the people. That's it. That was it. But think about it. That was, I guess, their entire test was probably that. Maybe there was 3 or 4 people just to see what the Jewish people are going to do. Put 350 Jews on a plane for 19 hours. And what's going to happen. And all they did was just remain calm and got along and were nice to each other. That was it. And that is what impressed them the most. Look at page number 2. I'll give you an example. Page number 2. This is a Gemara in Yuma. It says over here, I circled the words. Ve'ahavta es Hashem elekecha. What does that mean? Page number 2. You shall love Hashem your God. Which can be interpreted as commanding that the name of heaven become beloved through you. Okay, not that you should love Hashem, but Hashem should be loved through you. What does that mean? That means that you should learn Torah, learn Mishnah, and serve Torah scholars. Very important to serve Torah scholars, because then you'll learn how to behave. And his dealings with people should be conducted in a pleasant manner. What do people say about him? When someone looks at you in the street, you know what they're supposed to say? Fortunate is his father who taught him Torah. Someone looks at you in the street and says, fortunate is his teacher who taught him Torah. Woe to the people who don't learn Torah. Right? Well, someone's going to look at you and say, wow, fortunate to those grandparents. That is something. People say, I want to be part of Hashem's people because he looks at you. It brings them close to Hashem. Hashem will become beloved through you. Someone looks at you and says, I want to get close to Hashem because of this guy. And you're thinking like, hey, my battle in this world is like, that could be the most simple thing. Oh, we got 5 more minutes. Page number 3. Let's finish up quickly. Page number 3. This letter, this is the Igeres Ramban, also a must-read, Path of the Just. You got to get the art scroll. Also, the letters of the Ramban, Nachmanides, it's called Igeres Ramban. Art scroll has this is published, they break it up over 30 days. You learn a few lines of the letter every day. It will really change your life. It's called Igeres Ramban. This letter was written by Rav Moshe ben Nachman, more widely referred to by his acronym Ramban, and known in English as Nachmanides. The Igeres Ramban was printed for the first time in Mantua, Italy in 1623. This letter occupies a special place in the world of Torah literature. It is recited and studied regularly by masses of Jews who hold dear the lessons of this letter and try to live in accordance with its lofty spirit. Through the ages, Ramban's letter has been cherished by Torah scholars as well as the masses of Jewry. And this letter was sent by Ramban from the city of Akko in Eretz Yisrael to his son in Catalonia, Spain, to inspire him to act with humility. He instructed his son to read this letter once every week and to teach it to his children as well, so that they might learn it by heart in order to train them in their youth to fear God. Ramban assured his son that on the day that he read this letter, his wishes would be fulfilled from heaven. So people that are praying for something in their life, they always read this letter of the Ramban, and after they read it, they pray for what they want. Because Ramban told them, if you read this letter, anything you wish from heaven will be answered that day. So people do that today. They read it, and then they ask Hashem what they really want. You would think he's going to tell them, keep Shabbos, put on tefillin, marry Jews, don't speak lashon hara negatively, don't steal, don't commit adultery, don't commit idolatry, don't murder. He would tell them the fundamental things of Judaism. What does he write? Listen, my son, the discipline of your father. Do not forsake the guidance of your mother. This is the big lesson he's teaching his children. Accustom yourself to speak gently to all people at all times. This will protect you from anger, a most serious character flaw which causes one to sin. Whoever flares up in anger is subject to the discipline of Gehenna. As is written, banish anger from your heart and remove evil from your flesh. This is the great thing he tells them, the most powerful letter. When you speak to your wife, when you speak to your parents, you speak to your spouse, when you speak gently. Don't yell. Even though you might have had a hard day. Even though your boss might have yelled at you that day. And even though you have the right to be upset, but you speak to somebody gently. Why should his day be ruined? Because you're in a bad mood. And when you go to the bank, you speak to the teller nicely. And even though you walk into the post office, and that lady behind the wall, behind that glass, thinks she owns the world. You know why? Because she sells stamps. And when you sell stamps, you are the man. Because she has stamps and you don't. And therefore, she'll tell you, get to the back of the line. Ma'am, there is no line. I said get to the back. Okay, yeah. And you want to say, excuse me, you make $10 an hour, I make $1,000 an hour. I am more important than you. And that's what you want to say. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer.
Fire company.
Right, exactly. Do you know the post office lost $1.5 billion last year? Every year because of people like you? But you don't say that because she's a human being. She takes her job seriously. That's what she has. And you'll say, I'm sorry, ma'am, I will go to the back of the line. Ramban's telling you that is what you're supposed to be doing in life. Of course, I'm sure he mentions all the mitzvahs he's supposed to do. But think of what's going on over here. He's telling you how to behave. So, guys, it's incredible. This whole parsha is about complainers. They're about complainers. They didn't do anything that crazy. All they did was a bunch of times they complained. It seems like Hashem does not like people that complain. It seems like it's just against everything we believe in. Hashem is putting you in that parking lot with this corned beef, delicious corned beef, and the band playing for a reason. He's doing that for you. And you can say to yourself, hey, you know what? Why am I complaining? I have a car. I got everything going for me. Oh, so I'm going to be late for my meet? Is that a reason really to get upset? There are people that complain about everything. It's just their nature. That's unfortunate. And you know those people. You walk into shul on Shabbos, if it starts 2 minutes late, they complain, oh, why we always start so late? If it starts 2 minutes late, why? I'm not able to catch up. Or all of a sudden, the guy starts singing, Shochet on. Oh, great. We're going to be here all day. No matter what, in my shul, we start 8:30 every week for the last 20 years. We'll finish between approximately 10:50 and 11 o'clock. It's within those 10 minutes. But the same people, regardless of those 10 minutes, it's too long, it's too short, it's too hot, it's too cold. It's the same thing. Some people are just complainers. And it has nothing to do with the situation. That's who they are. And the question is, are you going to be on the team of complainers? Or are you? And that was the problem. Hashem realized that they were complaining, not just, it was their attitude towards everything. Everything was a complaint in the desert. And even though they were on such a high level with everything else, unfortunately, for this one thing. People on Elal, whoever's watching, good for you. You made a Kiddush Hashem. The word's spreading around the world that everybody remained calm. For 19 hours, including my friend, who flew there with, unfortunately, his deceased mom, who passed away, and he had to be on the plane. He had to bury her in Israel, and he remained calm. And I saw him in Israel. When he finally got to Israel, I went to be Menachem Avel, and he looked like he was exhausted. But you know what? He said, Baruch Hashem, everybody made it. Baruch Hashem, we're all alive. Baruch Hashem, everybody got along. No one passed out, no heart attacks. You know what? Baruch Hashem. What is there to complain about? I'm thinking about in the old days when you wanted to go to Israel. It took you, 3 months. Everybody got on a ship. It took you 3 months. So today, it took them a day and a quarter. A day and a quarter. What does it come down to? I'll just give you one last. I took a piece from a psychologist. This is not me. This is a psychologist. Why people complain, and then we'll finish. This is number 4. He says, this is, who wrote this? This is from Psychology Today, Sean T. Smith. Ready for this? Why do the Jews complain? What causes people to focus on the negative? According to psychologist Robert Kowalski, people complain when they are in discomfort. She writes, a state of self-focus forms the basis of every complaint episode. When in a state of self-focused attention, people compare the current state of events with their standards for those events. When the current state of affairs matches our standards, we feel good. When reality falls short of our standards, we feel the need to complain or whine. What she's telling you is, we all have our lives mapped out for us in our mind. We have our marriages and our jobs and our kids all mapped out. When our job is able to fulfill this reality, this standard you set in your mind, then you're feeling okay. When the traffic that day to work, you knew it's the way said 45 minutes, and if it's 45 minutes, you're good. But God forbid, if Waze says 45 minutes, and now it's 58 minutes, you're losing it. If Waze would have told you an hour, you'd be happy. 58, I got 2 minutes less. But because Waze told you 45, your standard was 45. And now that it's 58, you are losing it. When the Jews walked out of Egypt, they said, okay, we are going to get to Israel. This is what our goal is. We're going to get there in A, B, and C. God says, okay, now watch what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to, recalculate. Let's see how you handle it. If you know Hashem is in charge, He's looking out for you, then you're like, you know what? Must be a good reason why we had to divert. Okay. And then you have passed the test. And then you have grown tremendously. But if you're the complainers, you realize you are just totally lost. And you realize you're navigating this world all alone. And you have set the tone in life. I'm going to be married at 23. All of a sudden, you're still 24. You start complaining. Who told you 23? Where does it say in the Torah you're going to be married at 23? I decided. Oh, so now you're God. And then I'm going to have 2 boys and 2 girls. And all of a sudden, the first 3 are girls. Oh my gosh! Not fair! Right? Where does it say that you're supposed to have kids at all? What do you mean? Everybody has kids. Really? Not everybody has children. Where does it say they all have to be healthy? I decided. So you decided, married at 23, 2 boys, 2 girls, good job, peace and serenity, no sicknesses, live to 120. Yeah, that's what I decided. God said that you're in the wrong world. I'm in charge of this world. I'm going to put you on a nice journey. Your idea in life is to adjust. Keep going, but adjust. Don't complain. I'm in charge. If you live like that, I promise you, you'll have, when you're 80, you'll have only 2 or 3 white hairs. If you live like that, if you realize, and Hashem is trying, you won't complain, you realize you will live longer, you'll be calmer. It's good physically. Forget about your spiritual. Physically, you'll be in great shape. Because you'll say, I'm not in charge of the plane. I'm not in charge of the plane. When I sat down on the plane in Delta, I took that little pillow they gave me, I stuffed it behind my head, I took that blanket, you can't even call it a blanket, it's a blue thing, and I cozied up in it, and I just put those ear plugs in, and I put that mask on my eyes, my blindfolds, and I just went to sleep. Now I'm 30,000 feet in the air. I should be petrified right now. I mean, who even knows, the guy knows what he's doing? How do I know that the engine's not on fire? How do I know that the turbo not? How do I know? But for some reason, I looked at that captain, I woke up, I'm like, you know what? He's been doing it for 20 years. I'm good. That's insane. There are some people that live life like that. They look at the sun, the moon, it rises every day. You know what? Oxygen, H2O, solar system, everything's good. All right, I'm good. God knows what he's doing. Not well one day, crash one, it's all good. He's got the plan. And then you come. But for those people that looked at the captain on Delta and says, oh my gosh, this guy looks like a drunk. I ain't gonna make it. He's sitting for 12 hours, Nabuch, nervous, biting his nails for 12 hours. He lands, he's a nervous wreck. The guy at first class up for 12 hours, he feels great. The guy in the back was nervous for 12 hours. They both get off the plane. They're both in the same exact place. One is relaxed and one is miserable. Why? Because one said, you know what, this guy knows what he's doing. Hashem let the Jews out of Egypt and says, I want to see if you believe I know what I'm doing. And he kept testing them. Eventually they got it right. It took a little time though. It took a little time. But after traveling in the desert, after 40 years, they finally entered Israel. The Jews entered. It took a 40-year test. It was a 40-year education. Some guys have to go to 4 years college. This was a 40-year college. But after 40 years, they got it right. Baruch Hashem, we're still here. And we're the chosen nation. We're a light unto the nations. And you guys came tonight, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for listening. Please turn off all the... again, a special thank you to our sponsor, Mazel Tov on your sister that got married only 3 weeks after the last sponsor. We need more sponsors for next week. If you know how to turn off all these Facebooks and Torah Anytimes, please do so right now because technologically I'm not that advanced. Thank you.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.